Yo guys, welcome back to the Fryday Podcast. I'm your favourite host, Big J.
I'm RJ.
And today we got an absolute Leicester legend in building, Dr. Yasin El Ashrafi, if I said it right.
Close enough.
Someone you lot might know, know him as Mr. Yasin HQ. How do you know him?
Mr. Yasin HQ.
Thanks very much, man.
Nice one, bro.
Been waiting for this one as well. So usually we just start off with your story. We're born from Leicester, or
Yeah, I'm Leicester born and bred. Started off St Andrews, which was by Filbert Street.
Okay, yeah.
Lived there till I was about 8. And I moved to New Parks. Lived there from 8 to about 20 plus, and then I went on a little tour of all the glamorous areas of Leicester, Beaumont Leys, Saffron Lane, Monsall, Braunston. Did a few of them, and now then I met my missus, moved to Market Harbour, and now I'm in Kibworth, so I'm still close.
Yeah.
But I'm still about.
You know, you said you moved around and you did a little tour around Leicester. Do you think that helped you in what you do today?
Yeah, definitely, because I think some people, they've lived in one area the whole life, they know one group of people, innit? For me, I've been like so many different areas, different schools, different, like the people where I know people is like all over Leicester, all over the villages and the shires, all over the different bits, so it means I've just got a really big network off the back of
networking before networking, innit?
Leicester's a huge place if you include like all the outskirts. I'm from Syston, man. You know what I mean? So it's just...
So early life, school, how was your school life? Growing up, family life?
School for me was like, I'll be honest, I was what they say, like a bad lad or a naughty kid, so.
I was one of them as well, to be honest.
Yeah, you know how it is then. So I was wild, like I never met, my dad was deported before I was born, so it was just my mum.
Deported to where, if you don't mind me asking?
Huh?
Deported to where, if you don't mind me asking?
To Egypt.
Okay.
So I'm half Egyptian, that's where my name comes from.
Yeah.
So,
you know what, that's one thing I've always wondered, man, but you just answered
yeah,
the
because obviously
question.
I don't look like I should be called Yasin. Like, like, when I was young, people would like come in looking, like, and I could see them looking around, and they'd be like, yes, I'm like, that's me. But obviously, I didn't look like what they would expect me to look like. You know what I mean? A bit paler than they would be expecting. Do you know what I mean? So, but obviously, if I'd have lived in Egypt for 40 years, I'd probably be a bit darker right now. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so I was a bit of a naughty kid at school. I remember I think it's the first time I got suspended, I think I was like 7 or 8. Wow. And I think like when I moved to New Parks, that was kind of wild because I went from a really multicultural estate to like a really, really white estate. You know
Where did you go from?
I went from St Andrews, which is by Filbert Street, which was like, that was really mixed, you know what I mean?
Is that still in the state now, yeah?
No, they actually, they bulldozed it down and they built some new houses, but before it was kind of like flats with like bridges going across, and it was like proper ghetto, but then they knocked it all down and they built some houses there. But yeah, then New Parks was like kind of wild because it was like BNP and NF and stuff like that. So as soon as they realised my name, and all my sisters are mixed race as well, they're like half Caribbean.
Okay.
So like we got a lot of racial abuse, so I was just like, I kind of felt like I had no one older than me, brothers, uncles, so I just started beating people. I'll be honest, I just started battering people to try and,
Did you face it yourself, or was it because of your family was facing it?
Yeah, me as well, because like...
Because of your name though? Or
of my name. So
not because of how you looked?
That's what I was going to ask, is it because of your skin colour? Because obviously like I could never tell looking at you. Like I couldn't tell.
I could have blacked it if I just said my name's Matt. Oh yeah, my name's Matt, random.
Yeah.
You could have got away with that.
Because my granddad was Christian. So when I was born, I was actually called Matthew Ross El Ashrafi.
Okay.
And then when I was 1.5, my mum changed my name to Yasin by deed poll.
Yeah.
So which I didn't. It was never a thing when I was a kid because, like I said, it was a multicultural area. And then when I went to New Park, it's like, what's your name? Yasin. Like.
Yeah.
I couldn't even say it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what? And then they couldn't understand that my sister's was a different colour. What my name is. So they used to call us all types of stuff. And try and like give us abuse. Just because obviously we weren't white English. Like,
you weren't the same as them.
Yeah. So it's mad because, like I said, my name caused me actually a lot of problems as a kid. You know what I mean? So sometimes in certain situations and places, I would just every now and again just blag it. I'd be like, yeah, Matt. If I couldn't be asked to go through the explanations and you know what I mean.
But it sounds like you embraced it.
Yeah, you know what? The older I got, the more I embraced it. Like it's kind of like, and I think it's like, I think people are a little bit most people are a little bit less ignorant now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was like this is early 80s. You know what I mean? I'm 44, so this was a long time ago. So things has moved on a little bit. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it's kind of like now. Yeah, I fully embrace it. You know, it's because I grew up like white British, even though obviously I'm mixed.
Yeah.
And you know, like I didn't. It's kind of a weird thing where you've got like white privilege, but you've also not. You know what I mean?
And you experienced the bad side of it as well.
You say your name. You know.
Do you still think there's an air of racism in this country?
Oh, 100%. Not just this country, but worldwide. You know, and if you look at politics, like people are using people's like underlying racism to get votes and whatnot. You know, you see all the stuff about the boats and the immigrants and all this stuff. Where in the grand scheme of things, is a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, and it's nothing. It doesn't mean nothing, innit?
So we still had this Brexit and stuff. For me, it's mad. Like we're in 2024, and it's like, how can we still have so much backwards? You know, like,
and divide and that, innit?
Yeah, it's madness, bro.
The world is messed up, man. To be fair, the whole world is.
So. Not much school life, you weren't really into it. What made you get into music then?
So when I was young, I think I was about 14. I did a project, a music project with a community group called Soft Touch Arts. So we did DJ workshops, MC workshops. We put a little rave on at the Y across the road.
Yeah.
And we called it Sinistech, and I was DJ Freak. And
how did the name come about, DJ Freak?
To be honest, this was in my younger years where I was basically a bit of a weirdo them times. I used to take acid and stuff, and did my set on acid. It was a really weird thing, but I used to put like cartoon sounds into Gabba techno, and it was freaky, crazy music. You know what I mean? So that's where DJ Freak came from. But I kind of did that and then just forgot about it. And it was only years and years later when I decided I needed to start a business.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do I love? I love music. And I was looking at all my people, and other people who I did that project with like 15, 16 years before. Now my guy's a sound engineer, he's a producer, he's a DJ, they've got a sound system.
A career in music.
Well, they weren't really careers, but they were really talented. They weren't really earning no money off it.
Okay,
so I was like, well, look, maybe you lot, if you like, you're all doing it, you're all sick, you've all got bad talent, but no one's earning no peas. I was like, what if I build a business
and we will learn off it,
and we'll all learn off it. So I'll do the. And that's basically what happened. So I brought one guy in who was the engineer, one guy who was a DJ. He could do the teaching. And then I did kind of like the recruitment, putting the projects together.
And you all trust each other because like you said, you've known each other for 16 plus years.
Yeah, so we'd all known each other since we was kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was cool, you know. It gave us a chance to for them it was a chance to get paid to teach music, and then we were doing events with it. And for me it was just I suppose a chance to start a business with my mates, and kind of, because I got a bit of funding to set it up as well. It was kind of like a no risk thing, do you know what I mean?
So is this HQ of what exists of HQ now?
This was pre-HQ. So this was first business I set up was called Leicester Community Music Project, and that was in 2009 or 2010. And then we did a project. And then I did a couple. I used to go into like community centres and libraries and stuff with laptops and speakers. And then I did that for a bit. It was a bit of a ball ache, I ain't gonna lie, using someone else's space, like having to drive around with a kit and whatnot.
Did you feel any difficulties like starting a business with your friends? Because obviously, like, you got all your friends, it's gonna be high emotions, high tensions all the time, and obviously, you've known each other for a long time, but there are a lot of...
Trust me, bro,
Would you do it again?
Good question, that.
You know what? I say never, but at that point, I'm not actually friends with all of those friends that we were friends. You know what I mean? Our relationship over the course of it, it broke down the relationship, some of the relationships, you know what I mean? So some of us are still cool and some of us don't really speak, you know what I mean? And I'm the only person from the original team who's still part of HQ, you know what I mean? But I think it's, you do what you can, I think I couldn't have started it without them.
Yeah, 100.
So it was essential, and we all got something out of it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but, we couldn't have done it without each other, but it's there's always going to be tensions. He thinks you're working more, you're taking all the front. You know what I mean? It can just create like say tensions and
if you could go back, would you do it again?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So the first business you started, the one you just said, Leicester, what was it called?
Leicester Community Music.
Was that the one with your friends? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that based?
So that was based, first it was based, like I say, it was just a mobile business. So it was just based from my house. And then after a year, I managed to then get HQ.
Okay.
So I was like, look, we need to get a base. We need somewhere to work out of.
Yeah.
We need to, like, we go to
your own little space in that,
we need we need the space, we need the next level. So, and it was just mad because, like, HQ used to be 5HQ, which was a legendary record shop, you know, like it was Formation Records, drum and bass label. And I used to go there like every week, like it was like my mecca.
Do you remember it? You saw the record shop?
Yeah. I remember 5HQ. It's sick.
Because
we're downstairs and everything.
Yeah,
I remember that, man. It was one of the things.
He's 40, I'm 35, so we're not young, so we remember that. Yeah.
I remember that, man. I've been in there a couple of times, but
that's a proper throwback moment.
I think that closed, I think,
back a
in
little
2007, I think. And it was closed for a few years before I took it over. But I used to actually work for them as a flyer boy. I used to give out flyers to, like, there used to be like a rave in Milton Keynes called Evolution. It was like over 14s and that. So they'd give me a big stack of things, a few free tickets. And we thought we were the men, you know, like, we'd go there, cut through a 5,000 person queue. You know, we're working for 5HQ. But I never got to go upstairs. So then, like, literally, this is now... I'm going like, I don't know, 14, 15 years later, and now I'm like looking for a premises. I'm like, I'd love 5HQ. That would be perfect. And then just on a random one, my mate was like, you know what? My mate's taking it on, but he only wants the downstairs. You could have the upstairs as studios. I was like, yeah, go on then.
What was he starting downstairs?
So he was going to do it. It was like he wanted to do it as like a bazaar, you know, selling like different wares from local makers and whatnot.
Very bizarre or something like that. Yeah.
So he just wanted to have all different knickknacks in there from local makers, but basically he kind of spent so long going back and forth with the solicitors, he ran out of money. And then he was like, look, I'm gonna have to pull out. Like, I've run out of money. I was like, yo, just put your solicitor onto me, bro. So I don't care. I'm just signing. I just signed it on the spot, and that was
perfect spot for you, innit?
Exactly. And that was like 14 years ago. You know, and I got the keys. I got one upstairs. There was like records everywhere, like souvenirs, and you know, it was like took me back to my youth, and it's like, yeah, this is sick. So we've just been there building ever since.
What was the first step? Like when you got there, obviously you said there was all the stuff there, so you cleaned it all up. So what was the first step, saying, oh, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to start?
Well, we knew obviously we was going to set it up as a studio. So it was basically like, the upstairs was already soundproofed and whatnot. So it was literally like just clean it up, move everything out, and let's just get a basic setup studio in there. So we just got it set up so we could start running sessions.
Do you remember the first artist or first person who came in for a session?
You know what, don't you know? That's 14 years ago.
14 years is a long time.
I imagine it would have been someone connected to us.
Yeah,
I think it might have even been... No, it weren't him. I think we did a few test sessions for people. And then I think one of the first, like, kind of more commercial things, I don't know if you know Curly Hyper.
Of course.
So yeah, he came and he did a piece, and we gave him a free session, and we like, so that he would give us like a review and whatnot.
Yeah, so that was my next question.
So we did that, and then we kind of like opened up to the public.
So how did you get like open up to the public? Meaning, did you flyer out there, or was it word of mouth?
Yeah, it was mostly word of mouth, and then at the same time, so because that guy didn't take the downstairs, I had the whole building. And then basically we ended up. One of my friends, she was looking to set up a graffiti business. So basically, she ended up. I basically says, look, I tell you what, come in, you can share the space with me downstairs, you can man the space, I'll give you the space to build your business. So, but then we started with a couple of businesses, so their business was Graph HQ, so that started downstairs. So it was like Graph HQ, they had like all the paint, and then would sell t-shirts and artwork, and it was also an art gallery and stuff. So, and then upstairs was studios, so, but because there was quite a few of us involved, and at the same time, we'd also got the music cafe as well now, so because I was doing the music side, but then I was also doing events, so then I got the chance to take over the music cafe. So I kind of ended up simultaneously going from nothing to like 2 venues, you know, which was
at the same time.
You know, out of the 14 years working there, what's been your favourite project to work on?
You know what? There's been a few, you know, and I don't think I could pick one project out. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
I think 14 years is a long time to actually pick one. But okay,
I'm gonna say. I tell you what, my first project I really liked which was 2017, and it was like our first EP, you know. So I just set up the label. It was the first time I put any music out, you know what I mean? And that I really liked, you know, because I went all out.
And what year did you first put out? What year did you first put out the EP?
That was 2017.
2017.
Yeah. So in the beginning, we were just making music. We weren't really thinking about putting it out, you know. And it was only really once I moved from the music cafe. Because I'll be honest, I was so tired because I was doing 2 jobs and I got a family. I wasn't really paying that much attention to how good it was. And then after I got rid of the music cafe, I was like, oh shit, some of this music's fire. Yeah. Like, what are you doing with it? Yeah. They're like, oh, just SoundCloud or YouTube. I was like, no, like, we've got to get it on. Got to get it on Apple and Spotify and that. So how do you do it? I don't know. And obviously, really, there's not really like. I've always thought, well, this is what I realised, like Leicester was kind of really lacking for like music, business, infrastructure.
Yeah,
like,
there was a few people.
There were managers, like there weren't really no one really to go to for like advice and help and whatnot, you know what I mean? So
for new starters, there wasn't any advice and help. I completely get that. There weren't any like, how do you do this, how do you do that? There weren't any.
The only thing there was open mic nights you hear about, and then people would turn up to them and stuff like that, innit?
There's a few people, like really, unless your mum and dad have been in the industry or you knew someone who would have to go, you know, like people would just try and attend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I was like, look, let me actually try and learn how to do it properly. Start putting music out, but we put it out. We got a good reception. Ended up with like an A&R from Sony coming off the back of it, and we did hard copies, and so I loved that project. And then we did a project with Jafro called Peace, Lust and Sauce, and I loved that project as well because it was the first time we made a whole EP with one artist, start to finish. We brought in instrumentalists, you know, like we brought in, you know, we had saxophonists coming in and keys players and trumpet players, and you know, like, and then we put it out, and it was the first track that the Fryday just flew, you know, and that's done a few million, you know, like that was like big tune, you know, that was the first time I was like, this is chart level.
This is something good, isn't it?
That's mad. What's the biggest challenge you faced running HQ?
You know what the biggest challenge is money, bro. You know, like, because everything costs so much, you know, and obviously the people who are in the space that we're in often have got a lot of money, you know what I mean? So we're trying to compete with people with money, with no money. So we're like, you know, marketing budgets and packaging stuff up and keeping, even down to trying to keep the people who I work with on enough money so that they don't have to get jobs and whatnot, you know what I mean?
Is that also in terms of keeping up with the latest technology and equipment and everything as well? That's all.
Yeah, because again, you know, like, when people are like just trying to thing, they'll just use cracks and whatnot. You know? When you're doing it properly, you know, you got to have everything legit,
paid for.
Cracks, everything's got to be paid for. So just on softwares and plugins and hard drives, and you know, it's a never-ending, it's a never-ending money pit. You know what I mean?
So project-wise, you said the first one. Who was the artist in the first project?
And the first one, that was Manish was on it. Manish Caller, he was on 2 of the tracks. So we had one with BLG. So I had all of them on it, the whole BLG and Jafro, which was sick. Had Harry Giorgio and Sunsun on it. Had a Charlie Giorgio and Josh Nutter, which was a great song. There was another one as well. Harry Giorgio, Sunsun, Charlie Dinger. 2 BLG, there was another one, I can't remember it, but it was
a few big Leicester names in that.
Yeah, and obviously that was a long time ago, so it's nice to see. Like, a lot of people who I've worked with have kind of come and gone, you know what I mean? But it feels like the people that have stayed, you know, now they've got, you know, like they've got some stuff behind them now, you know what I mean?
And what's your view on like the UK scene right now?
Up in the UK, you know what? It's a weird time, I think, because it's like, if you look at the mainstream stuff, it's kind of a bit like samey, you know what I mean? It's not that exciting.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I feel like when you dig in a bit deeper, you know what I mean? There's still loads of sick music coming out, and there's loads of good artists. I think you just have to dig a bit harder to find it.
Because what it is, the radio pushes what they think people want to hear, and obviously if you want to go out and you want to listen to certain music or certain type of music, you have to go out and you have to dig deeper.
But you know what it is as well, like, it's management as well. So like Central C, his management system, I think, works good. There's a few big artists who maybe get managed by themselves or get managed by their friends and peers.
Not everyone. If you ain't Central C and you're a grime rapper, to get into the charts, it's gonna be.
All right, should I tell you why I mentioned Central C? Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it this week. He got a picture of his manager YB's. You see it?
Yeah.
You got a tat of him.
Yeah, I seen that.
So obviously that's a big step in it for your manager.
It's a huge step.
He changed his life, innit?
Yeah, no, it fully changed his life. But look, if you weren't Central C, the way you appeared, the way you were, and the way you look, and everything, and you released the same tune that he did, you wouldn't have the same impact.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Management helped him, innit, with all them decisions.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think management did as well, but I think if you want to, I don't know.
I think basically that is what it is. You know, if you've got like, because you know, part of it is not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Really, there's a couple of ways. Like,
And it might not even be
who knows bare people.
Yeah.
Can open up doors for you. You know? Same way, if you got a manager who's got unlimited resource and finance and is willing to invest into you like that, do you know what I mean? And again, because I feel like there's different ways you can make it. Like, one way is somebody opens the door for you. Obviously you have to have talent either way though, you know? There's a few people who ain't great, but they've, you know, like sometimes you can have the I suppose like the charisma,
the look and the charisma,
you know what I mean, and the swagger, that as long as the songs are catchy, it don't really matter too tough, you know. Whereas otherwise it's got to be, you know, if you do it for long enough, you could potentially buy your way in, you know, because there is ways of buying.
I mean, you think Kendrick just dropped an album, no marketing, GNX, sold 325 million copies.
Yeah, but that's Kendrick, innit, bro? There's not many Kendricks in the world, bro.
That level, you can do what you want.
Dropped an album on Friday, 5 p.m.
You don't need marketing. You are your marketing, innit?
Mama literally just dashed it on YouTube. That's it. Here we go.
You see a few people do it now. I think someone said, I think Glorilla has just put her stuff out straight.
Yeah, she's cold.
Straight to, you know, cut out all the DSPs and whatnot. You know,
do you know what it is? Yeah, someone's like, we're having a conversation. Yeah, so obviously the West Coast passed the crown to Kendrick. Lil Wayne passed it on to Drake.
Yeah.
You got Jay-Z passed it on to J. Cole. Yeah, for New York. Do you see any rappers who are next? Who comes after these three?
Yeah, that's going to be next generation, isn't it? They're not.
But they're getting to their 30s, their late 30s, their 38, 30s.
Should I tell you what happens? They get to these, you know, that freshman XXL.
But all
Cypher.
of them were dog last year.
Yeah, that's last year, but last year there won't be no goats, but this year there might be someone. That's how it works, isn't it, man?
I don't think so, you know.
So when you started HQ, who was your biggest competitor back then? Do you remember?
You know what? It weren't really, I suppose, like competitors. You know, like there weren't really loads of people doing it. I think there was Yard 26 who was.
Oh yeah.
Who was doing stuff. Who was.
Oh, they said about it, yeah.
On job, but. He's still. I don't think he's like there as in Yard 26, but I know he's got his own stuff. Adam Lewis mixing and mastering. You know, like he's still sick at what he does. I know he still works with certain people, but I don't think it's like to the level that he used to. You know,
used
like
to be,
like open to everybody. I think it's a little bit more selective now, and then a lot of it I think is online and you send it. But I've always had a mentality where I don't really feel like people are competitors. You know, I feel like
we'll collaborate, work together on that.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we need to have multiple. You know, because not everyone's going to want to work with me, not everyone's going to want to work with him. You know, like everyone's got places they like. You know, everyone's got stuff
where they feel comfortable in that, innit?
Feel comfortable. You know, my studio as well, obviously, because I'm a community studio as well.
Yeah.
You know, like we might have more rules than certain studios. We might not be in them days, especially. You know, like not be open as much as some of the other studios, or not be doing like late night stuff. You know what I mean? So it was more like even now, like our hours are 11 till 11. We don't do no full overnight sessions, or you know, we don't. Yeah, we try and just keep it like professional. You know, man.
Do you remember the time that? So basically, there's my story with. Remember? Do you know what I'm going to come to?
No.
Shadow on the beat. So he's come to Leicester.
Yeah.
He's come to Leicester. He's come to link me. What now? Done our thing. Took him to a couple spots, and then he's like, "Who's the coldest in Leicester in it, or who's the top 3 in it?" Yeah. So this is my opinion. You lot can have your own opinions, obviously. Mine was Cam, Jaff, and I forgot who the third one was. I think it might be TP. Yeah, for Leicester. So he goes, call Cam, innit? So I've called Cam, or I've messaged him or whatever, and he's like, yo, bro, I kind of don't live in Leicester no more. I'm doing my football team out of town.
Oh, yeah.
So I go, who's next? So it was Jaff. Jaff was next on the list. I rang Manish. I go, Manish, need Jaff, you know? He goes, oh, hold on. I said, I got Shadow on the beat here, yeah? We're at studio, but it's my mate's house studio, innit? So he goes, all right, cool, I'll come link you. He's come link us. That studio, I think a couple of stuff weren't working there, innit, yeah? So he goes, let's go back to mine. So we've headed to HQ, we've gone there, and then organically, Jaff was met us there, and they made a tune.
It was a banger as well.
You were there? I think you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Because I've got a video, and it was a banger. I don't know if it ever got released, but it was a banger.
It didn't get released.
Yeah.
You know what? It's because we didn't talk business before, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the time, you know, like because sometimes you'll make something with someone, and
Yeah.
a lot of the time, if you don't arrange the business, and it comes to it, and you've got it, and it's like, oh, okay, but now we've got to agree split, so I might want X amount for the beat or
Yeah.
But then obviously, if it's, you know, if you're just making it in the moment, it's like, well, it's all right, you know, like it was good. At the time, it felt like a bang.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something you were going to spend money on, and you know, like it wasn't like a single.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just like
more
a freestyle kind of thing.
It might be freestyle.
Yeah.
So I think we still got it somewhere on a hard drive though.
So how does the business side usually work? Yeah, and who taught you, or did you self-taught the business side, or did you do like a course or something?
So I was self-taught. So basically, I just set up a business. When I started my first business, my brethren was an accountant, so he knew a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
So he'd already helped someone else set up a business that got some funding, which was a kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, how you done that? Like, how you got money for kickboxing? It was like, oh, we're going to give the kids free classes. I was like, yo, what? That's how it works.
Yeah, you got to. What is it? You got to approach the government, tell them your plan,
Yeah.
and then they fund it, kind of
Why
thing.
I was like, yo, I could do that
Princess
with music,
Trusty.
Yeah,
bro. I was
that's
like,
it.
music's broader than kickboxing.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
offense to kickboxers, but you know what I mean? I was like, we could do that for music.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I could do what Soft Touch did, but do it for adults.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
at that time, there was no one doing anything for adults. So I went to Soft Touch. I was like, look, what I did with you, look, I want to do it, but for over 18s. And I was like, yo, that's great. Like, if you need any support, you know, so we did a few sessions as well with them, and I went to the local council. I was like, look, I want to do this music project for adults, because I know, like, I didn't get my shit together till I was 26, 27, 28, you know, and get
Yeah.
some direction, you know, like, before that, I was like, live fast, die young, you know, like, basically was a dickhead, you know what I mean? And I didn't know, I had no clue. And I was like, there must be so many people like me who find themselves late 20s, late 30s, whatever. Usually it's a trigger for some people.
And do you think that people have a plan, but they don't know how to approach it or where to go with it?
Yeah.
And if more people knew, was it Princess Trust that you went to? Or?
No, I went to literally like the council. But I did spend a year though. Like, I didn't just do it. I spent a year to kind of like go in to find out about this sector. I was like, okay, so this is the third sector. It's funding. How does it work?
What's the biggest lesson you learned from like being a studio owner?
From a studio owner, probably just that it ain't gonna make me rich. That's why then I keep adding on different things, you know.
Yeah.
Although it all started off for your community, so originally like it was never really about the money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, facts.
But when I told my mum, I'm starting a business, I'm going to be a company director, and I'm reading the paper, it's like, oh, you can earn up to 50 grand. I'm like, what? I was like, I could earn 50 grand. And my mum's like, look, whatever you earn, you'll piss it up the wall, because I know how you are. She was like, so stop focusing on money. And she was like, for some reason, people who listen to you when you speak, she goes, you can help people.
Yeah.
She goes, if you can help people, that's going to give you a much bigger reward. And she goes, if you help enough people for long enough, everything you want will come to you anyway.
Yeah.
She goes, so just don't focus on the money. And then basically she got cancer and passed away just as I set the business up. So ever since then, I felt like she's watching me, innit? You know, when
Yeah.
she was here, I could blag it.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
No, I can't blag it because I'm like,
They know everything,
She knows
yeah.
everything.
I know
She
what
can
you're
see
saying,
it.
man.
So I felt, you know, that from then I took it really seriously, to not be greedy, to not be chasing the money, you know, but to do the right things for the right way, try and help as many people as possible. And you know, like it's what she said is starting to come true. You know, like that started to pay me back now. You know, over the years where I've helped someone years ago, and then they'll come back and then they want to help me. Do you know what I mean? Or you know, like put enough goodwill out there. You know, that after enough years that
Karma, innit, man?
yeah, the karma comes back. And you know, because I put my story out there and I don't hide nothing. You know, like it's put me in a position now where it's like I'm kind of known for Leicester as like the go-to guy now. For the music thing, you know,
100%.
like, and that includes with like the government and you know like the unis and the council. You know, so that's sick. You know what I mean? But that's only because I've been doing it for so long now.
You've
do you know what I mean?
established yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
And
I've obviously done other stuff outside of Leicester. So I think, you know, because I suppose I'm ambitious now, you know. Once I started the label, I'm like, okay, so I need to be going London, and you know, I'll go like on like conferences, and I'll do sync trips. I'll go to LA, wherever I need to go to meet people, to learn what I need to learn, you know, and keep like building up Because like I said before, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So
Yeah, 100%.
I have to know people. I can't just be big in Leicester, you know. I need to be able to
Expand,
then
innit?
transfer that and take that across to other places, you know what I mean? Which I've been doing.
So do you know, obviously you're award winning, so you've been given your awards. Do you personally feel like you've been given your flowers, or do you think there's a lot still to come?
You know what? It's weird with it. I feel like sometimes I feel like I've been given too much flowers. You know, like it's become a little bit. It's like I'm grateful for it, but then, you know, like
You don't feel like you've earned it?
No, you know, it's not. I do feel like I've deserved it. Don't get me wrong, but it's still just as a person. I'm quite humble as a person. I'm normal. You know what I mean? So, you know, like. When it was a couple, it was like, oh, you know, but now it's like 11, 12, you know, like, and if someone then says, oh yeah, list them all, I'm like, oh, you know, like it's a bit cringy, do you know what I mean? So I feel like I have got my flowers. I think I've had you know, like a lot of people big me up I've had a lot of national, local and national awards, you know, I've been to some crazy places, you know, like I've come from the ends and I've been to the Coronation and Buckingham Palace and places like this because of the awards I've won, and it's mad.
Which one has meant the most to you?
Congrats, man.
I think it was the British Empire Medal, you know, because that was like, that's massive, you know what I mean? And I think for me, it was like, yo, like, I'm gonna go to like the palace and that, you know, like got like letters after my name because then they give me letters after my name.
When did it first click? Like, yeah, this is it. I've smashed it. When did it first click to you? Like, what was the first award like ceremony that actually thought, yeah, this is it?
So the first awards was massive and it was crazy because, I never even knew about awards. I didn't even know it was a thing back then. You know, like I was just in my bubble, mentoring, doing music projects, and then I ended up working on a project, and the Prince's Trust was part of it. And basically, some of the young people we mentored got put forward for awards. So, and then they invited me. So that was the first time I'd ever been to an awards do or heard anything about it. And you might know him, Ifaz Ahmad.
Oh, yeah.
So Ifaz, he won an award. He won like inspirational young person or high achiever or something. He won some award. And I was like, yo. And I went home and I was like, my man's just won an award. I was like, I'm going to win an award. And the crazy thing was, the Prince's Trust Awards only went up to 30-year-olds, so I could never win a Prince's Trust award. But then the very next year, they opened up a brand new category called Mentor of the Year, which was for any age, and they put me forward for it. So someone like
who put you forward for it?
Someone. Her name was Emma Southern.
Okay.
So she was the person who was leading the project for the Prince's Trust.
Okay.
So she'd been working with me for a few years. Like
been watching your shit.
Yeah, she'd been watching us. You know what? She's one of the people I think who was instrumental in me getting to the next level. Because she was like, she helped me get funding to try out different ideas. You know, so rather than just doing music, oh well, what about media? What about this? What about that? And then I started doing I was a Prince's Trust Enterprise Advisor. So I was helping people set up businesses, go self-employed, that kind of stuff. So then she just put it out on the internet. Oh yeah, putting Yasin forward for Mentor of the Year. You know, like we want messages of, you know, like to back up his application. You know, like, and it was crazy. Like it just went mad. All these people like, oh yeah, Yas did this for me. Yas did that, and it was a little bit overwhelming. You know, because obviously.
Did you realise that you've done so much for so many people?
Not really. You know, it's
just a thing, innit?
Sometimes you know, because like I know someone's parents like, yo, you saved his life. He was on you know. And sometimes people themselves are like, yo, thanks. Like without this, but you know, like a lot of people, you impact them more than you know, more than you realise. So it might be a tiny thing for you, but my mum's like, oh no, that month at the studio, I left there confident, I got a job, and I did this and I did that.
And also, that's just the people who are actually telling you. There's a lot of people who might not even be telling you,
of course.
And you've done a lot of impact.
You
for
know,
them.
music is a way of like releasing like all your stress and everything.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's it. So so that's how it went, and then it was sponsored by Good Morning Britain. So then I had to go on. It was like a national vote, so it was a public vote. So I was like, I ain't gonna win. I'm from Leicester, you know. Like we've got people like a couple from London, Prince's Trust guy, this person from Marks and Spencers. So I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but I was like, you know what? Let me go in anyway. Let me try and get the votes up and whatnot. So we did the votes. And then I ended up going on Good Morning Britain and found out on Good Morning Britain that I'd won the award. And then I went to the Royal Albert Hall and got like a big award from Prince Charles and that was mad, you know, like this was star-studded, you know, like Tom Holland, Cheryl Cole, Royals, you know, and I'm just like, but that was kind of because I used to deal with a lot of imposter syndrome and stuff as well. But that was, I think, where I had to really kind of get into myself, because I was shitting it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, man's going on the telly, like I got to go on the stage, and like I won't really do it. I was always trying to be behind the scenes. I didn't really want to be a front man, but then I kind of realised that no one can really run my brand or sell my brand like I can. So I was kind of forced to. So then I kind of started trying to change my mentality. Like, actually, you know what? No one's better than me. It don't matter how much money you've got. It don't matter if you're a royal, if you're a celebrity. Like, we're all just people. So, and I tried to get myself into that mentality. So I went there with that mentality, and I went there and I owned it, and I got my award, and I went home, and then off the back of that, they just kept coming, man. I think it's because that one was so big, and there was already a great application written. People were then repurposing it, and then I was just getting just loads of crazy stuff.
That's sick, man. Congrats for that, man.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely smashed it.
Back to the music. How do you support emerging talent? That if someone comes to you and says, "Look, yes, I think I'm half decent. This is what I've got. How can we elevate me to the next level?"
So it depends, though. So a lot of the people that I work with, it's through a funded program. So if I've got a project that there's funding available and they fit the criteria, I'll put them on a project.
Okay.
If they're not, if they can't go on any of the projects, if they're ineligible or whatever, then I'll be like, well, give us your music, we'll have a listen, we'll give some feedback.
Or what if they say, look, I've got money as well, I'll pay for my own project?
Oh yeah, well what we do with that, so everything we do is about development, so what we want to do is get people in, kind of listen to what they want to do, so listen to their references, and that's all right, how can we make it better, so a lot of places people just record, mix and send it back, so we'll try and help it, try doing it in a different key, try doing that, but we'll also try and educate people, like, don't just spend your money on a YouTube rip if you want to put it on Spotify, because you can't, so we'd explain to people, like, about the rules of releasing music even, so.
Oh yeah, so earlier when I asked you as well, like, how do you learn about the business side, you explained about the money side of the business, but how did you learn about this side of the business, like the rules, where to put your music out, copyright and all that kind of stuff?
So with that stuff, once I started the record label, I bought a thing called a record label in a box, so it came with a load of stuff with it.
Yeah.
But then what I also did was I just started doing bits, just asking people, and like every organization has a newsletter, or they have they have events where you can go and meet people and ask them. So I started just going to like networking events, PRS things, and then I think in COVID times, because all of a sudden I got a bit more time on my hands, I thought, let me join all these trade bodies. So I joined like Music Managers Forum, BPI, and PR, Association of Independent Music, and all these different things. And I just literally, like, whenever I had time, I was just going on to like group calls and like little conferences and getting meetings with people. And I realized at that time, like, it was actually quite good for me, because I could get in the room, but on a Zoom, basically with anybody, because people have time on their hands, So
and people don't mind helping.
Label owners, managers, like PRS people, and just like saying, just asking them stuff, So then ever since then, I've just stayed. I've just stayed involved with like the trade body side, going to conferences, like read it, keeping up to date with. But I'll be honest, there's so much, you can never know it all. And even if you do, it will then start changing again.
And if you don't ask, you don't get, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But the other thing is Google, man. Like Google, it
can be your best friend.
Yeah, it can.
What are the rules for releasing music? What is copyright? So some of it's literally just doing a bit of research, and just asking people who have been there before you and done it, because people don't mind telling you how to do stuff. People like talking. People like bigging themselves up. People, I'll help you out. So it's like, I think it's about going to people and asking for advice, asking for help.
Yeah, fine.
So artists come now. You've done the music. The music side's over. You've got a banger of an album. How do you promote that, and how do you get them to the next level?
So that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm honest with the artists. I'm like, look, we can make bangers every day, but don't mean they're going to do anything. Do you know what I mean?
The right people need to listen to it.
Yeah, you know, and the thing is as well, like you can only do so much for an artist. What really you need to be doing is the artist to be doing it themselves, and you're supporting it. So what I do is I tell them, right, look, if you want to give it the best chance, we need a release strategy. You know, so let's have a 4 or a 6 week release strategy. You know, and then we're going to have, you know, like I look at the music business like ecosystems. You know, so say like within radio, you know, like anyone can get a track to radio really, because there's bad community radio stations. So like if you're in Leicester, you'll start off with Leicester Community Radio or Too Funky Radio. You know, you'll find someone who plays your type of sound, and then you want to move up BBC Introducing, then you want to get onto the national, then eventually you might want to get onto them BBC Radio 1 and 2 and 6 and whatnot. And it's the same with blogs and stuff. So I kind of feel like let's look at people who might promote your music. So like up and coming radio DJs, bloggers, influencers, whatever. Let's get them to help promote the music, you know what I mean? If you've got money, then we'll put money into ads or PR or whatever, but it depends on the project, you know? Some stuff we literally would just put it out, we send it to radio, we hope for the best, you know what I mean? Depends
on, I reckon, the project and the budget of the project as well,
yeah, for sure. Like some projects we have a little budget for, some projects we've got zero budget for, but I'm a bit, it's a thing where a lot of people say, oh, don't put music out if you can't promote it and market it. But I'm like, well, why not? Why am I going to sit on all these tunes? You know, I'm going to put them out regardless. And I feel like it's just, you're putting your repertoire out there, do you know what I mean? And you're always getting better anyway. So if you just sit on it till you've got money, by the time you got money, you don't even like that tune, homeboy, you know? Oh, I'm better than that now, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, let's just keep putting it out and building the catalogue, building, you know, sending as much music to the radio as possible. You know, and then when you have got budget, or when someone does pay attention, you got a whole back catalogue there, do you know what I mean?
So how did you, like, obviously I think Chantel's signed to your label, right?
Yeah.
How did you find Chantel? How did that work? Because I know she's obviously come on radio. She's been on our show as well.
Yeah. So I don't actually sign anybody to my label.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have budgets. You know, so like people obviously sign to a label. You want them to like, where's my advance and what?
Where's my money?
So I sign people like on a management, kind of like I call it like a management, a development / management deal.
Okay.
So like the artists that I pick up, a lot of the time they're not necessarily ready for a big manager yet, you know what I mean? And they're still early days, but I'll take them on over a couple of years, and I'll be like, right, we'll just make music, we'll perfect your sound in the first year. Second year, we'll put out as much music as possible, get as many shows, and see where we can go with it. But yeah, I met Chantel. I think she performed on Project Live, and I think someone else had already sent her music to me time ago, like, oh yeah, this girl's sick, you want to get her on one of your open mics, or you want to get her on one of your events. And then it was about 2 years later, and I think she moved back to Leicester.
Oh yeah.
And then she ended up, I seen her at Project Live, and I do a thing for Too Funky where I give like some artist management advice to 2 people out of every cohort of Project Live.
Like a whole batch of people.
And I seen her perform, and I just thought, you know what, something different about this girl, you know, like, you know, don't get me wrong, the performance was like, it didn't like that. It wasn't like she was the best, but it was like she's got something. You know, like, and then you know she's got really interesting style, story. You know, she's crazy like the rest of us. You know, so I was like, she fits. So I was just like, we got to know each other, and then one day, I think it was in an event. She was like, "Oh, you lot are great. I love HQ." She was like, "Would you manage me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll manage her."
Yeah.
So I just brought her in, and we've been working together, and we've got some good stuff coming next year for sure.
Okay, my next question is not necessarily about music. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in your life?
That's didn't prepare me for these big things. I thought this would be like. The biggest thing, I suppose, you know what? I think it's like take everything with a pinch of salt, you know, because so many people will promise you stuff and, you know, like get your hopes up and stuff. And I remember in the early days, I used to get so gashed, you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, I go home, I tell my miss, guess what? Met so and so, they said he's going to take me LA, they're going to do it, you know what I mean? And then it kind of just goes quiet and like, oh. So, you know, like now, it's kind of like,
until it happens.
I've got a bit thick skinned with it now. You know? So even when something's like, I should be getting gassed, I'm like, oh. we'll see. And I can only really get excited once I sign a contract or once the invoice gets paid, or you know what I mean. So I think it's just take it with a pinch of salt, because people will gash you up and do nothing.
Have you talk about that thing with Dove?
No.
Oh shit!
No, you're gonna have to talk about that off air, yeah.
No, can't we talk about it? No, you sure?
I don't think we can, man.
Yeah, we can.
No, we
This is the Fryday Podcast, man. We can talk about
No,
what
we can't, innit?
So what's it called? This thing, Ill Kid, innit? Ill Kid, yeah. You lot got a little thing happening soon.
Oh, we're supposed to be doing a sound clash.
Yeah.
Oh no, we could talk about that.
he's like, I don't think we could.
Nah, we could talk.
Yeah, I said we could talk about it, so we can talk about it, bro.
Yeah, we could talk, because we said at the open mic night, I announced it.
Yeah.
For open mic night.
Fair.
So we already announced it.
I think this was going back ages ago, though. You know what I mean?
No, there might be a couple of. You might know some more than I do. I don't know, but yeah, we're supposed to be doing it hopefully in December. If it's not December, it might be January, February. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little clash thing where we go like artist for artist, track for track.
It's gonna be sick, man. I love shit like that, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
love
be
that
no
shit.
one. I'll be honest. I've been wanting to do like sound clashes for a long time, but I feel like a lot of people in music are music people.
Yeah.
A little bit too. There's too much ego involved. Like no, I ain't. You know what I mean? And it become a beef thing. You know what I mean? Where because Dav's a businessman.
Yeah.
It's like we ain't gonna have no like. We're not gonna.
It's not a falling out thing.
It don't matter who wins.
You're both gonna eat off it, innit?
Exactly.
Basically.
Everyone wins. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, there's so much crossover, you know what I mean? It's like his artists have used HQ. You know, like there's a lot of crossover with us anyway, do you know what I mean? So it's not like a beef thing, but it's like, yeah, let's clash. Let's see who's got the best sounds. Let's see who's got the best.
Yeah.
You know, we like a bit of friendly competition, innit?
Yeah.
And not just that, you clash once, and then when you do it again, you can say, let's see who's improved the most, who's stepped up a level.
Opens it up as well for then hopefully other people will then start getting involved as well.
Yeah, it showcases talent that we've got in the city as
three-way,
well.
four, you know what I mean? We can bring in different cliques, different artists, you know what I mean?
Okay, last couple of questions from me then. Where do you see HQ in 1 year, and where do you see HQ in 5 years?
Okay, so next year, I'll be honest, things move slow in music, so I feel like we're probably going to be where we are, but in a slightly better scenario. So I've got a lot, like the best music we've ever made is coming. It's coming anyway. It's already started coming. So you know, like we're on a good trajectory as well at the minute. We're getting new music Fridays and UK raps and editorials, and there's some big stuff happening. So next year will be where we are now, but with a even more sick music coming out. Like, I've got so much music for 2025. It's a joke. And I would say by 2030, I would say by then we're going to be at the point where somebody's made it, you know, like someone's got an award, someone's done something big, we've got some plaques.
We're going to be at the Brits, man.
Well, yeah, you know, like, and I visualized it, I manifested it, I'm working towards this stuff every day, you know what I mean? And I know the quality of the artist and the music is getting there, you know, so I know it's just a matter of time, and I think once that one thing hits, everything changes, you know what I mean? And I know it's my time's coming, you know. I've put the time in. I was on a 20-year plan, and I'm about to go into the 15th year of it. And the last 5 years is the money years,
and then retirement,
and then semi-retirement. I'm never going to retire, but from 50, I want to be able to pick and choose. You know, like have someone else do all the bits, and I just do the bits I enjoy. Where like now I do everything. You know what I mean?
But yeah, okay, we'll hopefully get you back on then 2030 Fryday Podcast. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for coming on and sharing your story.
I
can't wait for the sound clash. We'll release the information
100%.
once we got some more details. Big up Leicester Podcast Studio each and every time.
Always.
Big up the sponsors. We got Gypsy Lane Chippy, OD Design Labs, Chili Guys,
Man-made barbers each and every time.
Flexi Vehicle Hire, Skirt. If you ever need to record anything, if you want to do some music, make sure you hit up Yas HQ Recordings. It's a wrap.
That's it, man.
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Always.
Bosh.